Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And we are here at Clear Sky Entertainment Studios to receive an important guest. Now, this person I'm about to introduce to you is one of a kind, a man with many hats. And you know what? I don't think I am fit to introduce this person myself. So I will let him do the honors of introducing himself to you. Hello, sir.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Please can you introduce yourself?
Well, yes, I can.
Thank you very much.
So, I don't think you can't introduce me.
No, I
I
don't
think
fit
I'm
for that.
just a normal person.
Okay.
Yeah. My name is Victory Jaja. That's in terms of my name. What
What do you
I
do?
Okay, thank you. So I work at the Nigerian High Commission
Okay.
here in Nairobi. I am on the consular desk, head of the consular section. I am also on the desk of on Nigeria's desk at the United Nations Human Settlements Program, UN Habitat. So that's basically what I do. In terms of who I am, basically a normal person, nothing, no airs about me.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on the streets taking a walk. You can find me. I'm very accessible, as we all are actually at the High Commission. So yeah, in a nutshell, I'd say that's who I am. I don't know if I introduced myself properly.
Yes, you did. You did.
Thank you.
Justice. You see why I say I cannot introduce this gentleman, because he is a man of many hats.
I only mentioned two.
Yeah, he only mentioned two out of the many hats he wears.
I think those are all for now.
Yeah, for now. I think we don't want to bombard you with so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would like to ask a couple of questions. First of all, today's your birthday.
Yes.
I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
From myself.
Thank you.
And from Clear Sky Entertainment Studios.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's quite an honor.
for you. Go. There's a hamper.
Oh.
Yes.
That's a surprise.
And it's not surprise.
Okay.
Like, it's a gift fit for a king.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I don't want to take your time. So I want to talk about development in Africa.
Okay.
And where is Nigeria on the map?
Okay. So thank you for that question. Nigeria has always been the champion of any issue pertaining to Africa. From when we gained independence on the 1st of October 1960, and even prior to that, we had always advanced issues of Africa's interests, Africa's peace, Africa's progress. So we were champions in terms of decolonization. So on the African continent, we've had a number of phases of development.
Yeah.
Initially, the very first phase for the continent, for our development, was to have that independence, to be able to determine our future, to be able to determine our life as a people. Of course, we used to have that determination all through our history, ranging back into the times of ancient Egypt, the Kru civilization of Western Africa. Of course, we know of the several empires within our continent: the Mali Empire, the Ghana Empire, the Songhai Empire, which spans into present in Nigeria, the Soninke Empire, of course, the Benin Empire, the Oyo Empire, and several others. So we are people who were able to determine our course in history, and looking as well into the modern ages. Most of the history we know is of Europe, of Western Europe per se, but in Nigeria we had the Kanem Borno Empire, that has one of the longest dynasties, the Safewa dynasty that spanned over 1,000 years. So basically, we were able to determine our course in history. However, for a very brief period of our history, when we became, for want of another word, we came under colonialism, the force of colonialism. So after that episode, which spanned fairly about a century, a century thereabout. Yeah, of course, I didn't mention the slave trade, but that will be a subject for another day. But from the colonial rule, we lost that ability to chart our course. So Nigeria, after its amalgamation in 1914, we were blessed with very intelligent and savvy people who schooled in everywhere in the world, got the best of education, and no later after that, we began to advance the course of our development, not just for us in Nigeria, but for the entire African continent. When we were able to wrestle our development or our independence on the 9th of October 1960, when we became the 99th member of the United Nations. Our first Prime Minister, the late Alhaji Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, he used the opportunity to announce Nigeria's core priorities for development. As at then, he announced that we as a continent, we as a country, seek to see the independence and the viability of people of our race. And ever since, we've been pursuing it. We led the cause of decolonization of the continent. We supported decolonization efforts in Southern Africa, in Central Africa. We were able to do things to bring others of our race who needed that independence, and we were able to succeed largely. Yes, we were very successful, and maybe it's not said enough, but the role of Nigeria in the decolonization of the African continent is unparalleled. No other entity, no other force was able to do that. Is it South Africa? Is it Angola? Is it then called Rhodesia? No other entity was able to do what we as Nigeria did. And going further to the issue of development. So when we succeeded in having countries decolonize, there was now the issue of making the economies viable. In this regard, we champion the creation of regional economic communities. If I backtrack a bit, I would love to speak to the issue of the founding of the Organization of African Unity. You know, we had, after independence, we had the desire of African countries to come together to create a stronger force in fulfillment of one of the if I should call it that, the prophecies of Samuel Johnson, who says Africa needs to come together. So we had several views on how Africa should come together. Eventually, these two views coalesced into two major fronts: the Casablanca bloc and the Monrovia bloc. So Nigeria led the negotiations for the entire continent to actually come together. So the bringing of the Casablanca bloc and the Monrovia bloc, time will fail us to speak to the ideologies of each of these blocs, but Nigeria led the negotiations that brought these two blocs together and essentially bringing the continent together for the creation of the Organization of African Unity, as it then was, on the 25th of May 1963. So Nigeria also championed that aspect of our continental development. Third, Nigeria as well championed the development of regional economic groups with the founding of ECOWAS on the 25th of May 1975. ECOWAS, which is the Economic Community of West African States, is one of the leading economic communities, and we've succeeded in having freedom of movement of persons across the West African region, freedom of movement of goods across the West African region. We wouldn't take all the credit for this. Of course, we have been privileged, by we I mean Nigeria, been privileged with the cooperation, to have the cooperation of countries within West Africa, and indeed across the continent. Been privileged to have like minds to champion this process. So I would like to say that we still remain at the center. And the most recent African initiative for development, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area, agreed we were one of the last countries to sign the AFCFTA document, which we actually signed in July 2019. But the process of negotiating for the AFCFTA was championed by Nigeria under the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations, then headed by the late Ambassador Chiedu Osakwe. We championed the negotiations, the fine lines of what this agreement should look like. And today, I mean, it's gained a lot of traction, and there's a lot of prospect for development if the stipulations of the agreement will be followed through. So I would like to say we are central. We've played a central part, and Nigeria has always demonstrated its desire to be a continental player. We treat countries equally. We do not impose our will or wishes. We have never done that. Our first Prime Minister, Sir Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, says we appreciate the potentials which our size gives us, but we do not intend to use this to subjugate any other country. And if you look through our history, we have maintained that. Yes, thank you.
That is something. If you were my government teacher in high school, I'd have had A's because you're so in depth. You're so.
Thank you.
English has failed me.
Let's
thank you so much for. Thank you so much for this information. And you had mentioned earlier that you are the head of the consulate office. Yeah,
the consular section. Yes.
Consular section unit in the embassy. Now, I'd like to ask, how has it been working in Kenya? Because Kenya is totally different from home.
Okay.
And I know you've also worked around the world.
Some
few places, yes. So how different is Kenya from Nigeria when it comes to the issues of not necessarily the development, but anything that has to do with diplomacy and
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a very, very important question. I wouldn't say Kenya is. I wouldn't like to look at it as Kenya being different from Nigeria. First, we're on the same continent. We share the same aspirations. We do have similar challenges, but we are also We are also partners on a lot of spheres. We've had diplomatic relations with Kenya for a very long time.
Yes.
And these relations have been very fruitful. We've had exchange of visits between heads of states. But I think one thing that is central is that Kenya, being the host of the United Nations headquarters in the Global South, plays a pivotal role for the entire continent. Of course, we host a lot of meetings here in Kenya.
Yeah.
So the ability of Kenya to rally the continent, rally countries to development agenda is quite unique in that sense. We in Nigeria, we in terms of comparison, we share a lot of similarities. Kenya is a very key country in terms of peace and security in this part of the continent. We understand the role that Kenya plays in mediation in the neighborhood and in stabilization efforts in troubled parts of the continent, and this is very key. So in this, we certainly share a lot of similarities. Nigeria has also played its fair share in peace and security matters on the continent. Within our sub-region, we've that's the West African sub-region. We've made our modest contribution. We've not been aggressors. We've been partners. We've contributed materials and men to ensure that our continent is stable. And in that role of ensuring continental stability, Nigeria and Kenya are certainly two very key countries. The consular section, we basically an embassy, a high commission. By our governing conventions, we cater to the interests of Nigerians here in Kenya. We have Nigerians in Kenya, obviously, who are studying and doing very well. Very well. We have Nigerians here doing business. We have Nigerians in the international system. Yes, every once in a while, these people may need assistance, maybe for renewal of a passport or for some other service, which they do not need to go back home to get. So we cater to those issues. And if there's some challenges they have, say with maybe some matter where they need the intervention of their government, yes, they do not need to go back home to Abuja or Lagos. The High Commission is their home. The High Commission is where you can readily have access to those services.
Okay. Finally,
yes,
before we end this session, there are particular myths out there about Nigerians, right? And
that's an interesting one.
yes, the particular myths about Nigeria. How do we demystify these myths? Because
you have time enough?
We do have time enough. Producer, do we have time enough? So I just want you to briefly tell us how we can demystify those myths, because these myths have eventually evolved into stigma that is now rubbing off on we Nigerians outside the country. So for someone who isn't who is in the consulate sector at the High Commission.
Yeah.
How would you address this?
Okay, thank you very much. I would agree that there is a view of Nigerians. I happened to travel somewhere, not Kenya, and I had a conversation with a lady just some years ago, and she asks, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Nigeria." She begins to tell me that she's got some email from a certain Nigerian prince who has $100 million in looking for love. Anyway, that a lot of people got similar emails, but that email scam apparently did not originate from Nigeria, or did not originate from a Nigerian.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're in this media age where a lot of things happen through algorithms. I was watching something and then someone said, "Thank the algorithm for bringing you to me." So the algorithms are actually directing and fueling some biases. I mean, why would anybody just think that 200 million people can be classified by one name?
I know.
In Nigeria, we have thousands of medical doctors in the US, Nigerian medical doctors. We also have thousands in the UK. We have them spread across. So the fact that we have 1,000 medical, or more than 1,000 medical doctors in the US, would that classify every Nigerian to be a medical doctor? I mean, that would be nice. But if we have a handful of people, if we have 5 people who are doing some strange things, it's not enough. I mean, it's the wise thing to know that 5 doesn't in any way compare to 200 million. I understand we're a large country. We have 200 million people, and we're not only large, we're active, we're mobile. So you find Nigerians everywhere. Any country you go to, you do not find somebody from that from that country called Nigeria. You should begin to question the viability of that place. Yes, we contribute significantly to economies everywhere we are found. We contribute to their history. We enrich the culture. I'd like to see us as the spice of the world. Yes, we, of course, you certainly would not doubt when I tell you that the music hasn't started if there's no Nigerian music there.
Very true. Very true.
Same for the food. So, if you like all of these, where did you think it comes from? You think it doesn't come from the people? It certainly comes from the people.
From people, yes.
Yes. No surprise, you find 10 people, and then you find one Nigerian of that 10. That Nigerian remains the spice of that group. Yeah, permit me to do that. So it's actually, people need to reflect on their actions. Am I taking this person based on his or her merit? Am I taking this person based on some prejudice I have developed? And how did I develop this prejudice? Maybe from the algorithm in my smartphone. That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. And we need to also be cautious, because I read the news, and then you see a woman the report can read, a woman is maybe involved in a scam. 3 men involved in a scam. You will not know where those 3 men are from. But the moment one is a Nigerian,
all of them are Nigerian.
The paper will read, a Nigerian man. It sells. It's good business.
Yeah,
it's good business, but to what end? Who benefits from this branding? Who benefits from this painting? And I should add, no country has done what Nigeria has done for our race. No country has done it. We contributed, and we keep contributing to the peace and development of the black man everywhere they are found. 1 out of every 5 persons of African descent is a Nigerian. 1 out of every 5. From anywhere you take them, 1 out of every 5 is Nigerian. And look at what we do to economies where we are. We develop it.
True.
Nigerian medical doctors, they deliver breakthroughs. You know, the first doctor to operate on a fetus in the womb of the mother, removed the fetus, carried out the surgical procedure, reinserted the fetus into the womb of the mother. Never before had that been seen.
Yeah, I saw it in the news.
And then that baby was also born to full term and delivered. I mean, not to blow our trumpet.
Yeah.
But we certainly are the spice of the world. We have over 600 language groups. We have more languages than the entire Europe put together. We have a population of 200 million. Take the largest economies in Europe and put them together. It wouldn't be up to the number that we have as our population. So we're blessed with human resources. We're blessed with material resources. We're blessed with mineral resources. And the fact that we have 200 million people in Nigeria, I haven't also counted the 20 million Nigerians who live outside of Nigeria, doing very well, doing wonderful things. It would be very foolish of anybody to want to brand us based on a number of people. No, it's very, very, very. It's low. It's a very low hit. So yeah, I don't want to say too much, but we are certainly a great country, and we have a great destiny, and we'll keep doing our best. We'll keep partnering. We'll keep remaining the peaceful brother country that champions issues of our development. To wrap it up, our president was just addressed the United Nations earlier today. And he reiterated this principle. See, he called for a reorientation of the financial system, the aid system. Africa shouldn't be looking for handouts. No, these things that are skewed. Why our countries, why our resources being extracted in some terrible manner? Why are countries left war torn? You know, who benefits from it? He asked these serious questions. I mean, we are the people who do that. We Nigerians, we are the people who ask these questions. We are the people who get these answers for the continent.
That's really interesting. So, for those of you who don't know Nigeria, Nigerians are the spice.
We're the spice
of the world.
We're the spice of the world.
So, please address us with a little spice.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, one last question. Our independence is 1st October.
Yes.
We will be 63.
We'll be 63 years as an independent country.
100%.
We are. So we're working on a number of programs. Let me just pick about 2. Working on a business roundtable, and then we're working on the independence celebration itself, where we'll bring the Nigerians together. just to celebrate our country. We've been 63 years an independent country.
Yeah.
It's a great feat. It's a great feat. There have been a lot of stipulations and speculations on the media. Oh, these people will fight themselves. These people hate themselves. Really? We're 63. We are 63. So it's called for celebration.
Coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the business roundtable, we want to discuss more how we can benefit the Kenyan economy, and what we can also do better, how we can engage better with the Kenyan economy. So these are some of the activities that we have planned for the celebration of our independence here.
I can't wait. I think I'm going, if not thinking, I'm actually going to put a reminder for those events. Hopefully I get to attend both.
You would even be seeing reminders on social media.
No problem. Anyways, we've come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
I feel like I need a one-on-one, and I need to flog my government teacher because I think that man did not do justice.
Did you have government textbook?
Yes, we did.
What happened to the textbook? You didn't read this?
We thank God.
We thank God. Right? But you passed government.
Yeah, I did. I had an A in government.
So what are you talking about?
So anyways, we have a gift for you from Kleska Entertainment.
Just a surprise.
The gentleman that you are. Will you let me do the honors?
Okay.
Okay. So don't look down. Yes. I'm just gonna do this.
Looking up.
You can. So this is for you from us. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
And we wish you many more years.
Oh, thank you so much.
Many more interactive sessions.
Thank you so much. This is so lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Clear Sky Entertainment. Thank you so much, and keeping Nigeria in a good light.
Yes, I will.
Yes, it's a great one. Thank you.
So, anyways, no push, no jealousy gifts. For your birthday, we'll bring you over.
Nice.
So, sir, can you just say something as a signing out? Just sign out with words, not. I know it's to pen.
Yes.
Just use your words to sign out.
If you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub by the side of the rail. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, be a bit of the grass and some highway happier make. If you can't be a muskie, just be a buzz, but the liveliest buzz in the lake. We can't all be captains, we've got to be crew. There's work for everyone here. There's big work to do, there's more work to do, but the work you must do is in here. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that we win or we fail. Be the best of whoever you are. Sign out.